Hey, it's Magda from Crypto Masters, and in this video we're going to discuss 3 reasons why Bitcoin will probably reach 50,000 before the year closes. Market experts predict that Bitcoin could reach 50 grand till the end of 2018 and 500 grand till 2024. So I wouldn't like to say that Bitcoin will actually reach these values. As we know, crypto markets and markets in general are completely unpredictable. And in most cases, all it really is speculation and staring into a crystal ball. So I'm not going to prove that Bitcoin is going to cost 50 grand or that it's going to cost $1,000 because both arguments have their supporters. There are loads of people convinced that the price is going to go through the roof, and there are others who think that the price will hit rock bottom. So we're not going to think about which of these predictions are more realistic. What we are going to do is we're going to look at 3 market factors that could shed light on the way things develop. You know, they could shed light on the way things could go. And it's an interesting piece of information to keep in mind. So Anthony Pompliano says that Bitcoin is going to cost 50 grand by the end of 2018. Pompliano is the founder and partner at Morgan Creek Digital Assets, backed by Morgan Creek Capital Management, who is a multi-million-dollar hedge fund investment firm. Now, he tweeted last week that he is not backing down from his 50 grand price prediction. As you can see here, I've stuck to my 50 grand Bitcoin price target for end of year 2018. Still have high confidence on the 50 grand number. The time frame is the big unknown. The next 5 months will be fun to watch. So he's stuck to his 50 grand Bitcoin price prediction for 2018. He's carried out a thorough technical analysis. He's taken into consideration many different variations. And I wanted to talk about 3 arguments that Pompliano puts forward to keep in mind, irrelevant of how the price of Bitcoin will behave in the next couple of months. So I want to acquaint you with these 3 arguments because I think they could really influence the increase of the Bitcoin price, and not just that, but the whole crypto market. Many market analysts are predicting that the crypto market is going to reach an all-time high. So what is Mr. Pompliano saying? He's basing his predictions about Bitcoin hitting the 50 grand mark by the end of the year on 3 assumptions. The first one is human psychology. The second one is Bitcoin ETF speculations, and the third is the entry of institutional money. So let's have a look at the first aspect, psychology. Pompliano's noticed a certain phenomenon that when crypto prices go up, the craze starts. Everyone starts entering the crypto market, and everyone's going to have Bitcoin, and everyone's going to have different other coins, and whatever shit coins you may have, their value is also going to go up. And indeed, many people made money on this. But then you have the other group that bought Bitcoin in December last year and were forced to become hodlers because they bought Bitcoin when it was at an all-time high at 20 grand. Though it turned out that when last week there was an increase and market capitalization increased quite quickly, we once again saw the phenomenon repeating. Articles started popping up on different portals. People started talking about cryptocurrencies again. And as a result, Mr. Pompliano decided that if there once again was a craze like that and Bitcoin hits the 10 grand mark, then the very crossing of that border will psychologically make people want to buy. And the price will naturally hit the 12 grand and then 15 grand mark and so on. Because everyone is going to be talking about it again. And even though we all know that the basic principles of investing are that you buy when the market is at a low point or in a bearish market and you sell when prices reach all-time highs, we know that 90% of people don't follow this rule. We kind of see people's comments during price market corrections that prove this, like, oh, you cheated us, I bought a coin a week ago and the price has gone down. I was meant to be a millionaire, but the price has gone down by a few percent. But if you think about it, price corrections are actually opportunities to buy cheaper. And if you approach the matter in a sensible way, then yeah, it will be an opportunity for you. And it's these very same people who treat market corrections as depressive tragedies. It's the same kind of people that are going to buy Bitcoin for $50,000 because they think, oh yeah, the prices are going up, now's the time to be buying in. And they keep going on in this vicious circle ad infinitum. And you know what? I don't really care about other people's bankruptcy. I don't. But logically, unfortunately, more people enter the market when prices start going up. And we can see this happening in the last couple of days. Though for now, these are just little teasings. When prices actually start going up, then we have no doubts that the craze will begin and everyone's going to start throwing their money at the cryptosphere. And this is a very realistic factor that could influence the market. Now let's have a look at the second argument that Pampliano puts forward, and it concerns the famous ETFs. Okay, so we're talking about all the recent hype around ETFs and the Winklevoss twins. So these are basically financial instruments. 5 institutions, big institutions, want to introduce them, including the earlier mentioned Winklevoss brothers. These ETFs differ from other financial instruments connected with Bitcoin in that, in order to be able to form an ETF, the institution needs to have actual Bitcoins, okay? So real actual Bitcoins, because if you remember, Bitcoin trading based on futures, they didn't need to actually possess Bitcoins to do futures and to earn money on them. But ETFs require possessing actual Bitcoins. So what this means is that large institutions are going to have to purchase actual Bitcoins in order to set ETFs up and to actually open up such a market. So ETFs were meant to be approved by now, that this date has been pushed to September. And according to Mr. Pompliano, chances are rather slim that ETFs will be approved this year, because these kinds of regulatory decisions are quite complex and a few people probably have to bribe some other people for this to be approved. So hopefully next year. Though the truth is, realistically looking at it, if big institutions are going to want to start offering ETFs, and 5 large institutions have already expressed their interest in offering ETFs, then they need to have Bitcoins, which means that they're going to have to buy Bitcoins. Simple as that. Those that don't have Bitcoins are going to have to buy them from someone else. And as is the norm, when a few people want to buy a lot at the same time, the prices are just going to increase, and this is perfectly predictable. Right. The third argument is about institutional investors in general. So large firms that are not entering the crypto market because it isn't properly regulated yet. This argument is quite logical, because if someone is managing a capital fund, right? So someone's managing a huge capital fund. They have billions or millions on their bank accounts. They're not going to be interested in financial instruments that are unregulated or that no one is sure whether these instruments are completely legal or not. After regulation, this problem will be solved. Some fear that regulation will ruin the crypto market, that it will be the end of it, and that no one will want to enter the market afterwards. But that's just complete fiction. The crypto market is tiny and regulated markets are much larger, even just comparing to traditional exchanges. It's true that regulation probably generates some kind of price corrections, as we are witnessing now in the crypto market, though afterwards there are no obstacles for the crypto market to grow and develop. obstacles, not obstacles. And it's not just going to be the little people entering the crypto market, but also big institutions. You know, big companies that know that they can safely buy and store Bitcoin. Simple as that. And that, you know, no one's going to accuse them of stealing money or accuse them of breaking the law, because everyone is going to be regulated. When this will actually happen, when ETFs will be approved, we don't know. It's a guessing game when it comes to the time frame of this happening, though it will eventually happen. So everything is pointing in the direction that if all of this happens at the same time, so that cryptocurrencies are regulated in developed countries like the USA and China or Russia, and then if regulation takes place and additionally ETFs are approved, and that then the third argument, namely human psychology, would be activated and everyone would start buying Bitcoins, even if they were valued at 30 grand or 40 grand 2 days later, then, you know, then Pompliano's predictions really hold water. And obviously there are no sure scenarios, and we have no way of knowing what the big fish with billions on their accounts are actually up to, though everything that Mr. Pompliano said makes sense, and his arguments are quite simple and logical. They're not crazy arguments like Mr. McAfee saying that Bitcoin is going to be worth $1 million because it's the future, just because it's cutting edge technology. And if it isn't, I'm going to eat my genitals on TV. So yes, I guess they're a bit less out there in comparison to Mr. McAfee's bets. But many people who are predicting Bitcoin prices are not supporting their predictions with any arguments. And Mr. Pompliano has provided 3 very concrete justifications of why he thinks that Bitcoin will reach $50,000, possibly even by the end of the year. So let's keep an eye on how things will unfold, and let's hope that logical theory turns into logical practice. Because as we know, reality sometimes writes the weirdest scenarios. Though I have a deep belief that these predictions, you know, they just make sense. That's it. And I support Pompliano's arguments. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these predictions and how you think things will unfold. Thanks a lot for listening. Please subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.